Hey, welcome back to another episode of the She's Making an Impact podcast. I'm your host, Rachel and today we're going to be talking about how my failure led to my breakthrough. And I was just thinking this morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, all the different failures that I could share with you over the course of the past, I've been doing online business for 11 years now, which is wild. So I was thinking, like, especially in this business, like all the failures I've had of like the launches that didn't work, or how we hired a sales director and kept him on for way too long, even though he wasn't performing. Like so many different failures that we've experienced. And then I started researching failure and like I have a lot of different quotes for you. John Wooden, failure isn't fatal, but failure to change might be. And that made me think of specifically what my biggest failure was in having an online business and what my breakthrough was. And so when I think about my biggest failure, it wasn't the launch that didn't work. Although there have been many of there have been many of those. I think people don't share enough about the launches that didn't work, or you think everyone has, like, every time they launch something it's amazing. That's not the case. Like, you're gonna have launches that don't go your way. You're gonna host a summit that doesn't go your way, and it's never a failure until you stop learning from it. And so every single time I've had one of those experiences of the launch or whatever it is that just didn't work, in my head, like, I had such a hard time thinking of the business failures because I didn't see them as a failure, because every single time I've learned something from it and then I use it to the next thing to make it better. And so I think that's one of the biggest things in terms of like business failure, is looking at it and thinking, what did I learn from this? As long as you learned and you grew and you could make it better next time, it was not a failure. Robert Kennedy said, "Only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly." And so I want you to think about, do you have, a fear of failure? What's really holding you back? What are you afraid of? And you know, Richard Yates said, if you don't try at anything, you can't fail. And it takes backbone to lead the life you want. And so when it comes to me and failure, I think the biggest failure that I had was when TJ was a baby, when he was like one. And I was working 24/7. It was very much, I was getting a lot of success and significance from work, and I was in network marketing at the time. And it's like they dangle the carrot in front of you. And I wanted like the recognition and, reaching this certain rank. And we were making good money. Like, when he was, let's see, he was maybe like 0 to 6 months is when we were really struggling financially, but when he was around 8 months old is when I started getting into my groove and we started making more money. And then, it was like, "Oh, sweet, this is working." And then I started working harder and harder and harder. And so when I think about my biggest failure, it was that I worked so much that, I made myself sick and got, leaky gut and gained 30 pounds and adrenal fatigue. And I failed as a mom in that moment because I put my business before TJ. And that ended up being a huge breakthrough, um, especially now, of really creating boundaries around how I work and how I show up. And also doing a lot of business really is, it's a lot of inner work to figure out, like, okay, I'm so driven by success and significance. Why is that? And having to figure out, like, I am not my results. And I think this is one of the biggest things, that a lot of us, let me know if you relate to this, of like, we are not our results in business. So you're going to have good months, you're going to have bad months. It's inevitable, right? You're going to do things that work really well and you're going to have really high highs, but you're also going to have really low lows. And one of the biggest things that you can do is actually just disconnect you from your results, because you are not your results, right? You have your business, but then you have you. And if, as long as you can figure out how to not have your self-worth wrapped up into your business like I did, um, you you show up differently and it doesn't stress you out as much and you don't put so much pressure on yourself. So now when I think about my business, I just think about how can we impact more people? How can we serve more people? How can I have fun doing this? Because ultimately, like, we're at the point where I I don't have to show up every single day and work if I don't want to, but I choose to and I get to because I know something that I have to offer can help somebody, right? Oh my goodness. Dennis Waitley said failure should be our teacher, not our undertaker. Failure is delay, not defeat. It's a temporary detour, not a dead end. Failure is something we can avoid only by saying nothing, doing nothing, and being nothing. And so I want you to think, what are some of the things that maybe you're avoiding because you're afraid you might fail at it? And if failure is something that you know you need to get over and you just like it's something that's holding you back right now, a really good book for you to read is Failing Forward by John Maxwell. I've read it multiple times. It's a great book. And I think one of the stories he tells is about Sarah Blakely. Um, I don't have a quote from her today, but she is the founder of Spanx, first self-made female billionaire in America. And her father, when she was growing up, would encourage her to fail. And he would ask her every single week, like, hey, what's something that you failed at this week? And if she didn't have something that she failed at, he would be disappointed in her for not having tried something and failed at it. And so I want you just to think about how you are seeing failure and how you can reframe it. And failure isn't like the lack of results or the failure, right? It's just not trying. Okay. Thomas Edison, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. I I think this is such a good one because think about how many times he tried it and tried it and tried it 10,000 times. And if he gave up, at 9,999, would we have electricity? Someone probably would have figured it out, but it ended up being him, right? Because he didn't give up. I think about oh, Colonel Sanders from KFC, right? He had his chicken recipe and he was knocking on doors and he had to reach out to over 1,000 people that rejected him because they're like, no, this isn't that good. No, it's not that good. Would at 999, would you have given up? Because you kept having people say, no, it's not good. No, I don't want it. No, like go away, chicken dude, right? But he kept going and he kept going, and now there's KFC everywhere. They have KFC in Senegal now, which is just crazy. Paulo Coelho said there's only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve: the fear of failure. And Winston Churchill said success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. And so I want you to think, could you actually set a goal to fail intentionally? Like, make it your goal over this month. I'm going to try something and I'm going to actually fail at least 3 times this next month. If you do that and you actually start to pursue doing those bigger scary things, something that you don't know how it's going to go that you're actually going to fail at or you have a good chance of failing at, that's when you're really going to grow. And so I want to challenge you, what could you do to pursue failure? Robert Kiyosaki says winners are not afraid of losing, but losers are. Failure is part of the process of success. People who avoid failure also avoid success. So I want you to think, how could you actually embrace it and pursue it over this next month, over this next year? Okay. If you need support in growing your business, I definitely want to be here for you. If you want a free strategy session with our team, just go to helpmecoachnow.com. Helpmecoachnow.com. We're here for you. We want to help you succeed at the highest level possible. So go do that. If you're here on video, you can see I'm not in my office. I'm actually in our bedroom. You can see pictures of me and my hubby. My mother-in-law's here for the month of August as I'm getting ready for rib surgery in a couple weeks. And so she has overtaken my office. So I'm just working from, the bedroom. Why not? Anyways, pursue failure and have a great day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.